me unplug this power. The hopefully that'll help. If you experience any glitching, or while you're watching, please let me know in the comments. That happened on a few of the readings I did prior to yours, and I'm hoping it's because I had the power cord plugged in. I have one of those supercharged uh, power cords where it charges in an hour, and I'm thinking that might have had something to do with it. So I haven't had it plugged in Aries' reading, and I'm not going to plug it into yours. So again, if you hear any glitching or anything like that, let me know in the comments. That way that lets me know that that has not resolved the issue and I need to look further into it. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, thank you for coming in to check it out. If you're returning, thanks for coming back again. Hopefully you guys will subscribe and hit the notification bell. I made some changes to the site here, or the channel here. I now have 2 channels. So this one is going to be specifically dedicated to doing readings for astrology placements. Okay, some of the readings are going to include tarot cards, some of them are not. This one does not include tarot cards, but I'm reading the planetary alignments for the sun sign and the ascendant of Taurus. So take what resonates, leave the rest. If you need a personal, my information's in the box below. Um, I have a new channel. It's called Money Styles. The link to that channel is in the box below. I'm the God and Goddesses readings. So if you're familiar with the channel, you subscribe to the notification bell. I'm going to start with those readings tomorrow. So I should be able to catch them when I post. Over there, I'm also going to be doing the silent enemies readings as well as the true intentions readings. I might some in, but that channel is going to be more for tarot only. Over here, we're going to be doing a lot of astrology mixed in with a little bit. So hopefully you can handle both. Some people just don't like astrology, they don't get it, understand that. So I didn't want to just leave those people out. So I went ahead and set up a separate channel. So make sure you subscribe to the notification toggle in between. All right. So this is going to be for Taurus, the month of August. So let's take a look at what's going on in your first house. Your first house represents the way you present yourself to the world, how you dress, the way people see you, you command your space in the world. So, we know we have Taurus. The North Node is here in your first house. Collectively, we're dealing with the North Node in Taurus. South Node is in your 7th house. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But Uranus is here, and Uranus is going to be going retrograde on the 24th, right? I'm going to do a reading for you guys. Uranus retrograde for actually each of the signs. I'll do that later in the month. So you have Uranus retrograde here coming up, and then you also have Mars in here right now. So with Uranus, Uranus is the planet of sciences. It's the planet of technology. It's the planet of the internet. It's the planet of uniqueness and individuality. It's the planet of rebellion. It's the planet that consists of the element of surprise. Like, if we talked about nature, I feel like Uranus would be lightning, right? It happens really, and then you have to deal with the repercussions of what occurred in a split second. So sometimes those repercussions are positive, sometimes they're not so positive. It's just all subjective and depends on what's going on with you. So when Uranus goes in retrograde, what we're looking at is if there was some type of lightning that struck, something that came out of the blue, came quick, came fast. Uranus in retrograde, you're dealing with the aftermath of that. Okay, if you were the one, because this is a self-reflection, when we're talking about planets in retrograde, it's about self-reflection. So this could be your response to something. Okay, usually when the planets are direct, you want to look at that energy coming towards you, or you definitely pushing it out to someone or something. But when it's in retrograde, you're looking at how this energy is affecting you. So what I like to do with the planets when they're in retrograde is I like to delve into a level of self-respect, self-reflection by looking at who, what, when, where, how. Who was involved? What happened? When did it happen? Where did it happen? And then look at, how it's affecting you. So that helps you sometimes break down the energies so that you can get the benefit of the time in which the planet is in retrograde. So with Uranus, was there something that you rebelled against? And now that you rebelled against it, what are the results of it? Was there something that happened out of the blue, and as a result, you have to deal with the ramifications of it? If so, what was it? Did you cause it, or did something happen to you? And now you have to deal with it, right? So we'll be looking at that, and that's in relation to your first house. So you standing your ground. So I feel like this could be you questioning yourself about, okay, maybe you got fed up with some days, because Uranus is the energy of, how somebody just seems like somebody just spazzes out of the blue. Well, in reality, sometimes it's not like that. It's like sometimes, like say someone was annoying you, right? And you're just ignoring it, thinking that they'll stop. But they keep doing it every day and keep doing it. And so on day 50, you just get tired all of a sudden and you just explode. That's Uranus energy. So to the person you're exploding on, they're looking at it as if, what's wrong with you? Why you changed up? Something's wrong with them, because they're usually not like that, and you probably usually aren't. But it's because people have been testing you, and you've been trying to be cool about it, and you just got tired of it. So you may have blown up on somebody, especially with Mars in your first house. You may have exploded on some people, okay, because you're just tired of being pushed around, people taking advantage of you, people putting you in a position where you have to succumb to them and whatever it is that they want. And it's a matter of people just taking you for granted. I feel like, Taurus represents the energy of peace. It represents the energy of just wanting things to be easy. So sometimes you may, instead of standing your ground in a situation, you may just be cool to keep the peace. Well, I feel like what may happen as we get closer to Uranus retrograde is you may decide, you know what, I've taken all I can take and I can't take anymore. So just be careful of those energies to make sure that you're not in a situation or circumstance where you lose your job because of your temper. Maybe try to talk to this person first. If you guys have talked to these people and they still act the way they act, then it's time for you to make a move, because you don't want these people putting you in a position where you're acting out of character because these people are being disrespectful, right? And if you behaving this manner, to being disrespectful to someone, taken for granted because they are nice and they don't want communication, you make yourself in a position where this person may give it to you. Okay? So be careful, right? Now, Mars is in your first house, but it goes into your second house of Gemini on the 20th of this month. So Mars is the energy, that's that warrior. Mars, wherever Mars is, he wants to defend it. He wants to stand its ground. He wants to fight. And he will not hesitate to defend. So it's in your first house. So this may be how you feel about people who are coming at you being disrespectful. People who taken advantage of your kindness, and took it for weakness. You may be standing your ground with these people, but when Mars moves into the second house has to do with your self-esteem, your self-worth. So this could be you basically standing up for your values, your beliefs, and what you feel is right with the Gemini energy, because the Gemini energy is an expression of your views, your values, the way you want to live your life, your lifestyle, right? And it's in the second house. The second house has to do with your self-worth, your self-esteem. So you may be just in a position where you are standing your ground with people, or you have to stand your ground with a particular person, or against a particular person, place, thing, or idea, right? You're going to be pushed to that point where you're going to have to defend yourself in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully it's not in a physical sense, but it's going to be high time that you stand up and put your foot down. All right. If you're not already dealing with that, you may come across that with these planets in retrograde. It could be going on anytime between now until the end of the year, when they all start going direct. Okay. So with this reading, if it doesn't resonate right now, come back to it at the end of the month and see if any of these energies that I talk about, show up in your life. Maybe not exactly how I said it, but, some of the key elements of those energies may show up in some way, shape, or form. So you don't have any major planets in your third house of Cancer, so we'll skip over that and we'll go to your fourth house, because this house is lit up with Leo energy. It's Leo season right now. We have the new moon in Leo coming up on the 8th, as well as the Lionsgate portal. This Lionsgate portal energy happens every year. Just a quick and dirty version of what it is. You can do some research on it, but if you're already familiar, cool. But just quickly, what it is you have the star Sirius. This is the largest, brightest star when I and 30 times in the sun, 30,000 times brighter. And so what happens is when the Lionsgate portal occurs, it's the occurrence of Sirius, the sun, and the earth lining up in such a way that the heavens open up. The heavens open up, and we're able to connect directly with our ancestors, other intergalactical beings that are there to help us and to guide us through, whatever's going on in our lives, if we believe and we tap into that energy. So if you do, this is the time for you to tap into that energy and to call on your guides, your ancestors, your guardian angels, your soul group. And this is like a direct connect that you have. It's like you get a direct call straight through, right? So you want to tap into that energy, and this is all in your fourth house. So this is dope. Okay, so for a lot of you, you are going to be getting messages, whether if you pay attention and you tap into that, you'll be paying attention to that, and you'll be noticing little signs and symbols that you may get. Your ancestors may be available to you now more so than ever. So if you have your altars set up and you talk to them from time to time, or you give offerings, now is the time to be really vigilant with that, because those energies are going to be there to assist you and move and help you move forward. Now with this Leo energy in the fourth house, the fourth house not only deals with your bloodline, but it also deals with your personal and private feelings, your personal and private home. All right, what happened? Did it cut off? Anyway, like I was saying, we're talking about the fourth house with the new moon in Leo there, the Lionsgate portal there on the 8th. Venus is also going to be there on the 11th as well. So Venus talks about what we value. So I feel like you're going to be focused on your emotions and feelings in reference to what's important to you. And I think that has a lot to do with what's going on in your first house. So this could be you in direct connection with your family members. It could be family members that you could be standing your ground against. Maybe you're tired of them pushing you around. And so it might be a time that might come in the near future where, for whatever reason, you may have to stand your ground against them. Hopefully that won't be the case for you, but also it could just be that, maybe you just have some unresolved emotional scars that have to be dealt with and that need to be healed. You can call on that Leo energy to help you to heal that inner child, because Leo does represent children. It represents the inner child in you, childish nature. Okay, so some of you, there may be some things that you're healing from in your childhood, and this energy may help you. So feel free to use it. Okay. The next section we're going to look at is your fifth house. That house is normally ruled by the sun, and that house is normally your Leo house. But the fifth house is where Mercury's at right now. Mercury's been there. And this is your Virgo house. So Mercury's been there since the 4th. So when it comes to the house of the inner child, the house of children, the house of what you do to have fun, the house of vacationing, the house of leisure, Mercury is going to be in there. So you're going to be thinking a lot about these types of topics, these types of things. Some of you may be feeling the urge to go on vacation. Some of you may be feeling a desire to really start looking at what you do for fun, what you enjoy doing. Do you still enjoy this, or is this something that you no longer enjoy? Have you outgrown this? Some of you may have children of your own, and you guys may be working some things out with your children, or trying to figure things out related to your children and your children's education. And that may have something that may be directly tied to your family and your fourth house, where you may be looking at, okay, well, what did my mom do, and what did my mom's mom do, and what did my grandmom do, and what did my great grandmom do, or your father's lineage, so that might be tied in some way, shape, or form. Perhaps some of you are getting reacquainted with family members, like going to family reunions, things like that, and connecting with other family members in that way. So maybe some of you may have a trip planned where you're going to a family reunion, or maybe you're hosting a family reunion. But I do feel like there's family is going to be important in some way, shape, or form this month for you all. Okay. So you're going to definitely be trying to, figure things out with the Virgo energy. It's all about um, also putting a restraint on things, somewhat restricting things, being very cautious and careful and looking things over, with a fine tooth comb, with a magnifying glass. Also, with the fifth house, it deals with love affairs that don't last, whether it's situationships, one night stands, whatever you want to call it. So for some of you, you are going to be really analyzing the connections that you have, the sexual relationships that you have, to determine if these are something that's going to be long term or if it's something that's just short lived. Um, some of you may be going through a stage where you're outgrowing a player status. And now maybe you're looking to settle down, or some of you could be the opposite. Maybe you've been married forever, and now you're ready to be single and go out and have some fun. So, those are some things that you may be thinking about here, but you definitely want to pay attention to your health because Virgo rules health. So make sure that you're strapping up, all right, or you're wrapping, or he's wrapping up, when you guys are out here doing your thing, because there's a lot of people out here having fun, all right. So just protect yourself. You got these things going on out here, these diseases with monkeypox and all of that type of stuff going on. So your health, not that it's not been important, but it's paramount now that you really focus on who you're going to be with and, vet these people out and be careful with the one night stands. Maybe this is what some of you guys are really thinking about and what you're concerned about, right? So maybe you're like, I don't want to be out there like that because we got a lot of craziness going on. But at either rate, you may be thinking about that at some point. So your sixth house is Libra. We don't have any planets there, so we won't talk about that too much. But your seventh house is where the South Node in Scorpio is. So when it comes to your seventh house, that's the opposite polarity as your first house. That's where you have Uranus and Mars at. That's where I was telling you that some of you may be in connections where, people have been taking advantage of you. It could be any type of connection. It could be a workplace situation where, how, people say nice guys finish last. Well, it could be this type of situation and you're tired of being a nice guy or you're tired of being the nice one, right? But it could be going on in your personal relationships with your friends. It could be going on in a work environment or a business environment. It could be going on with your family dynamics, okay? Any type of relationship that you're in with the Scorpio South Node, if it's toxic, you're going to be standing your ground and rebelling and rejecting against it because you want peace. Okay, that's what that Uranus in retrograde is going to be doing. It's going to be rejecting anything that's toxic that's coming from that seventh house where Scorpio in the South Node is at. All right, so keep that in mind. So I feel like, just like a lot of us, you're going to be focused on your relationships and your connections as well, determining who you've outgrown, what no longer serves you, what ideology, beliefs, or practices or lifestyles no longer suit you, and what you need to do about changing it. So your ninth house is where Sag is. We don't have any planets there right now, but in your your eighth house is Sag. We don't have any planets right there, but we do have planets in your ninth house. Capricorn is your ninth house, right? The ninth house deals with the higher mind, the higher realms. It also deals with your spiritual beliefs, your religious beliefs, your philosophy on life. And you come to these conclusions with your spiritual belief, your religious belief, and your philosophy on life based on the things that you've experienced, because the experience brings you wisdom. So wisdom is, the ninth house is synonymous with wisdom. So with Pluto there, Pluto is a planet of intensity. It's a planet of power struggles, because what Pluto does is when it's time for something to change, it kills it in the old state and then it revives it in a newer state. It's like creative destruction. Something is destroyed so something new can begin. And when we're talking about your ninth house, this could be your beliefs. So old beliefs may be being questioned right now with Pluto in retrograde. Old beliefs are being questioned in reference to, okay, does this no longer work for me based on my experiences? Does this philosophy work for me? If it does, then it's like, okay, I'm going to move forward with it. If it doesn't, then what can I change about it? Can I change anything and still keep it? Or do I have to just, toss it all out and come up with a new concept, a new philosophical view? Or the same thing with religion and spirituality. It's like, okay, does this religion, I know this is what I was raised with, but does this serve my purpose for my higher being? If it doesn't, then maybe you abandon that. So some people could be abandoning, the religious or spiritual beliefs that they grew up with because their experience in life has taught them that this is not enough. It doesn't satisfy what you're looking for, or it doesn't work anymore for you. Okay, and so you're going to be in a Capricornish energy with that. So you're going to be, restricting. Right? Capricorn is all about restricting, and it's also a cardinal sign, so it's all about taking action towards restricting what's no longer good for you, being conservative. Maybe some of you are deciding that, okay, maybe the lifestyle I was living was too wild. Now I need to, slow down and be a little bit more conservative about things. Or maybe I've been too conservative. Maybe I need to get out and have more fun. Right? Which is why we got that Mercury and Virgo there. You're assessing, the seriousness of the situation. Have you been serious enough about it, or are you too serious about it? Right? So those are some of the things you may be thinking about also this month. Oh, this is just my notes. I drew a diagram of your of your chart. I like to draw charts. So people are like, well, why don't you have the software? Like, yeah, I have that, but I prefer to just draw it out. At any rate, don't mind me. That's my Mars and Aquarius. But the 10th house, you got Saturn here in retrograde. Saturn, okay, so yeah, Aquarius is in your 10th house. I was just talking about Aquarius. So your 10th house has to do with your career endeavors, your professional achievements, also how you see yourself morally, your internal moral compass, what you know is right, what you know is ethically right or ethically wrong, and how you govern yourself, your internal rules, right? We know that, the government has rules for us to follow, but we also have our own internal compass where, there's certain things we will do versus certain things we won't do unless provoked, things like that. So with Saturn there in retrograde, Saturn is all about restraints. It's all about rules and regulations. And so when it's in retrograde, it's making you look at, do we need to change the rules and regulations in reference to your moral compass or your moral values? And this is what's going on with your 9th and 10th house. Based on your experiences, you're questioning, hey, this is what I used to believe because this is what happened, but now I understand it to be this way. For example, I remember my Nana told me, I asked her, I said, what's the most important lesson you've learned in life thus far? She said to treat people the way you want to be treated. So at some point, I didn't understand the depth of it, so I would treat people the way I wanted to be treated despite how nasty people were to me. But then I got tired of it, and I got frustrated, and I rebelled against that. And I said to my Nana, please, at that point she passed away, but I would talk to her from time to time, and I'd be like, look, I understand you said treat people the way you want to be treated, but from what I've learned, I have to treat people accordingly. If they deserve to be treated, decently, then I'm going to treat them decently. If they don't, then I'm not going to, and so I waver back and forth with that now. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, despite their behavior, just be a calm and civil individual. And then sometimes I like, F that. If they're not calm and civil to me, I'm not going to be calm and civil to them. So I toggle between the two. So this is like an example of what your 9th and your 10th house with Pluto in retrograde, Saturn in retrograde, this example of what you might be experiencing. Just, questioning your ideas and beliefs of what you knew to be right or what you thought to be right, but life has taught you different, and now you're reevaluating it to tweak it so that it works for you, my dear, or my sir, right? So that's what's going on with your 10th house. But also you have career, professional achievements, career endeavors, and things like that. Some of you may be looking at the situation like, yo, is my time up here? Do I need to apply for something else? Do I want to apply for a promotion? Do I need to come out of this industry altogether and go do something else? Others of you, you could know someone who's getting out of prison. Some of you could be dealing with trial and court issues where you may have someone who is going to jail or is facing jail time, or someone you may know or a family member who could be getting out, or who could be going back to court to find out what the status of their freedom would be. All right, so some people could be dealing with that. But you're going to be looking at this energy or approaching it in a very Aquarian type of way. So Aquarius deals with like long-term forward movement. Also, you're looking at, what some of you may be looking at your friends and talking to your friends for advice in reference to your career and things like that. Or maybe a friend of yours or have somebody who might hook you up with a job or something like that, right? So Keep your eyes open if you're looking for a job. You know, maybe a friend or a family member may know somebody who knows a guy who knows a guy, right? So it could be that type of thing. Or maybe you're the guy and somebody comes to you and says, hey, my friend needs a job, or, you know, my nephew needs a job. And, you know, maybe you're considering it and maybe you're not, you know what I mean? Because you know how it is when you try to get a friend a job. Sometimes you got to be careful when you put yourself on the line. Somebody could be asking you for a reference or to be a reference for them. That type of thing may occur this month. All right, your 11th house, that deals with your social life. You know, if you have a group of friends, who are you in that group of friends? Are you the silly one? Are you the smart one? Are you the one that's always got money? Are you the one who's always broke? Are you the one who always has relationship? Like, what is your category in your group of friendships? Also, what type of organizations are you affiliated with, right? With Neptune here in retrograde, in the house of Pisces, which is your 11th house, your friendships. With Neptune in retrograde, you're taking the rose-colored glasses off and you're looking at these people around you and you're seeing them for who they really are. And you're doing this in a very Piscean way, meaning that these people are not going to tell you, oh, I'm just here to take advantage of you, or I'm just here to shit on you, or, you know, I'm going to see what you got, and if you got something I can use, then I'll use you for it. But your intuition, when I say you're going to be, you know, understanding this in a Piscean way, your intuition is going to be telling you what's what. Also, you could have been on the fence about, should I cut these people off or should I not? Or they could be feeling that way about you. But with Neptune in retrograde, you're going to basically see the situations for what they are, or you're going to get some type of alert in reference to, this person has always said this, but I've never really paid attention to it until now. And now that I'm paying attention to it, I see this person in a totally different light. So it could be something like that, right? But Neptune retrograde in Pisces also, you know, with this Pisces house, this deals with karma. So you may have a lot of karmic friendships, okay? Or you could experience karma in a sense where it comes from your friends, the people you socialize with, or the people you socialized with. I feel like a lot of you could be outgrowing some of the friends that you had since childhood. Okay, that could be a thing that's going on for some of you, or reconsidering the friendships that you had with these people, and contemplating if, you know, if the friendship can take it, if it can go to a next level, or if you have to leave it be. Okay, for some of you, you may be hiding your feelings about, you know, some of the people that you deal with now. You may know some things or observe some things, but you may be keeping it to yourself, or you may just be in shock behind it and you just don't know what to do. You may not know what to believe. You know, you may thought you knew this person, but then something is revealed to you about them and you're like, you know, maybe you find out that they're a criminal and they're being charged for something, and you're like, but damn, you know, this person was a good friend to me, but yet they've broken the law, and now, you know, and they may have done something major. It's not like, you know, anything minor. They may have done something major, like maybe they hurt somebody else, or, you know, they did something really significant where they're going to do some major time, and being associated with this person is just like, it's controversial, right? So it could be that type of thing going on, but that's just an example. But with Neptune in retrograde in your 11th house, you're going to start seeing people that you associate with for who they are. And any groups or organizations that you're in, you're going to start seeing behind the illusions of these organizations and these groups. You may not see it right away because Neptune's going to be in retrograde until December. So, you know, things may play out anytime between now and then, where you start realizing things start coming to you. Also, check your Neptune and retrograde reading that I did for you guys. It's already done. Look in the Taurus 2022 folder or playlist, and check that and see if anything that happened with that resonates with you yet. Next house is the 12th house, all right? That's your last house, right? The 12th house is your Aries house. Now, in Aries, you have Jupiter in retrograde and you have Chiron in retrograde. But the 12th house is the house that deals with, I need you guys to pay attention to your dreams too. You may have dreams about some friends, or you may have dreams about being in an organization. Some of you might have dreams about being initiated. That could be something you dream about, or you have some dreams about going to class or school. I recommend that you write your dreams down. If you don't remember anything but you were in a tall building, write that down, all right? Because what you want to do is at the end of the month, From new moon to new moon is the best time to analyze your dreams. Like if you document them every day, like from one moon cycle to the other. So you want to write everything down, whatever you remember, no matter how little or how minor it is. If all you remember was you were cold, write that down for the night. Okay, yeah, last night I had a dream. I can't remember much. I just remember being cold, right? At the end of the 28-day moon cycle, take a look at that information that you've written down about the dreams that you've had through that cycle. Meditate on that energy and see if you can decipher or understand what those messages are for you. All right. Because you got a lot of energy in your 12th house, and you got key energy in your 11th house, your 10th house, and your 9th house. So this tells me that you're definitely contemplating or going through changes in reference to your beliefs, your values, also the people that you associate with, their beliefs and values. All of that is being questioned in reference to, is this what you want to be affiliated with? Maybe some of you know some criminals, and these criminals, because everybody's getting their karma right now, and maybe you associated with someone who did some dirt, like I was saying earlier, and now you're really just seeing who these people are. Maybe a facet of their personality was not exposed to you until now, and now you're seeing, oh damn, this person was doing some dirt, right? So be careful who you associate with too. Be careful of your affiliations, because you could be guilty by association. So there could be people questioning you about things in relation to some of the shit your friends may have done. All right. Or they could be looking at you sideways because they know some things about your friends that maybe you have no clue about. So, those types of things could be going on for some of you as well. So just be careful with that. But with Jupiter in retrograde in your 12th house, Jupiter is all about your spiritual journey, your spiritual growth. It's all about, good luck, good fortune. It's all about taking risks as well. And when it's in retrograde, you're looking at, okay, what risk did I take and why didn't I take it? Or, damn, I took this risk and I messed up. I wish I wouldn't have. What could I have done differently? Right? And this could have something to do with, you have some regrets, okay, in reference to giving people opportunities or giving people chances. Or there could be a situation where you may have screwed something up, and it might be on your conscious, because the 12th house deals with your conscious, right? So you got Chiron there as well. So it could be something that you did that you may not be able to live down. Chiron is an energy of us having to deal with, we all get some real serious wounds at some point. Some of us have more serious wounds than other, but there are certain wounds that we all get that we have to live with, no matter how old we get or how much we mature or how much time goes by. If we stop and think about it, the shit still hurts. It still hurts like hell. So Chiron teaches us, despite the wounds that you have, you still have to go out here in life. You still have to function. You're still responsible for your actions and going out here and living up to your best potential, regardless. So with these planets in retrograde, you're looking at the journeys that you've been through. I feel like you're settling some karmic debt right now. I do feel that way. In reference to the types of people that you're dealing with. You guys are dealing with people who are karmics, especially your friends. Friends and family members are karmic for you, Taurus. So it's all a matter of growing away from these people. And these are people you've been around for a long time. These friends are people you've been friends with for years, for a lot of you. Okay, even since childhood. And now maybe you're in your 30s and 40s. Okay, and so you're really, reevaluating those connections and really wondering, do I truly know this person? I thought they was one way, but now that, Neptune's in retrograde and I'm getting these downloads and I'm picking up on their frequencies, I feel like there's something about this person I don't know. Or I feel like for some reason I can't trust them no more, and it may be a valid situation. You may not be able to trust them anymore because you may find out that they might have been sneaking behind your back because, Taurus is an energy of comfortability. And once you're comfortable, that's it. You good, right? And so, again, you could be dealing with people who may have taken advantage of your kindness or the fact that you're just a real steady, depending on the other placements in your chart, but you could just be a real laid-back, steady individual. You don't want no, drama. You don't want no stress. And some people may take advantage of that because they think that you're not going nowhere. You're always going to be around. You ain't going to do shit. That type of thing, right? And so you're going to get to the point, if you're dealing with these types of people who are shady, where you're going to start seeing it for what it is, and you're going to start to rebel against it, and you're going to have to question these relationships if you're going to continue moving forward with these people. Whether it's a job situation, whether it's an organization that you're in, you know, a fraternity, a sorority, whatever it is, the chess club, whatever it is, right? Friendships, relationships, all of these things, right? So this is what I feel like you're going to be dealing with for the month of August. If this resonates now, cool. If it doesn't resonate right now, again, come back at the end of the month, check this out. Also check out your other placements and see if anything resonates in reference to the experiences that you have for the month of August. We got all these planets in retrograde right now, so this is a time of reflection, inner work, okay? So that you're able to move forward and, you know, live your best life. But you got to get rid of the garbage, and you got to make sure that you look to understand what's garbage and what's not. And so that's what we're all dealing with right now. All right. So with that being said, this wraps up the reading. If you need a personal, my information is in the box below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to also go down into the box below the video, get the link to my mini styles channel. Put that in your URL bar, hit enter, and then subscribe to that channel, hit the notification as well. Because after I'm done with these readings over here, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to do the God and Goddesses readings. I'm going to start working on those tomorrow. All right. So I want you to be able to catch those as well. All right. Especially my fellas. All right. Because I know, you know, the fellas like the God readings. So make sure you subscribe over there on Mini Styles. The link's in the box below. And that way you'll have access to them. All right, Taurus, I done talked you to death. So hopefully you got something out of this. If you need a personal, my information is in the box below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next reading. Later.